Hello, dear students. I am here with another video of chapter number 5 of the book Vistas. The chapter is Should Wizard Hit Mommy? It has been written by John Updike. Should wizard hit mommy? Mom, mommy, mother, and wizard, a kind of a magician. Okay, this is very interesting story, dear students. There is a story within story here, and this chapter raises a moral issue. Let's see here. Here is a story about the worldview of a little child and the difficult moral question she raises during the story session with her father. As I told you, there is a story within story. Means it's a story first, and in this story, in this chapter, a father is narrating a story to his daughter, and she is time and again raising questions because she is growing and she is having certain queries. So during the story session, she raises so many questions. Moral question. As I was telling you, this story you will see will raise a moral question. Question is, should parents always decide what the children should do, or let the children do what they like to do? Okay, should parents always decide what the children should do, or let the children do what they like to do? And there is an evident contrast between an adult's perspective of life and the worldview of a little child. You will see the worldview of a child, little child. How does she thinks about the world, about the incidents, about the happenings, and what are the experiences of her father, an adult. This chapter deals with a major theme, which is the question of authority and parenting. Through the story of Roser Skunk, here in the story which is being narrated by father to his daughter, the major character is Roser Skunk, an animal. So through the story of Roser Skunk, the narrator Jack is the name of father, wants to emphasize the fact that mothers are always right and they know what is the best for their child. And simultaneously on the other side, the child does not agree with her father, and she says that mother is not right. She should not interfere with what is good for her child. So how the story goes like, let's see. Here is the text. Later on we will be discussing the title, appropriateness of the title, about the message, about the theme. Okay. So let's go with the text of this chapter. In the evenings and for Saturday naps like today's, Jack told his daughter Zoe a story out of his head. So you can understand that father's name is Jack and daughter's name is Joe. And father, Jack, is telling a story to his daughter Joe, and he had been telling the stories to her daily, like today's naps, Saturday naps. In the evenings and for Saturday naps like today's, Jack told his daughter Joe's story out of his head. Out of his head means out of his imagination, not a real story. This custom began when she was itself now nearly 2 years old, and his head felt empty. Means when she had been 2 years old, he had started narrating the tales to her, and now she is 4. 2 plus 2 added. Okay. So now his head is empty, means he used to create the story out of his imagination, and now all imagination is over. What is he doing now? Each new story was a slight variation of a basic tale. He had prepared a basic tale, and he used to make slight changes in that basic tale and used to tell the story to his child. What was the basic tale? A small creature. Means there would be a small creature in the story, usually named Roser, and his name will be Roser. Roser fish means in one story it was Roser fish, in other it was Roser squirrel, in other it was Roser chipmunk. So basic tale tells a small creature usually named Roser had some problem and went with it to the wise old owl. So this creature Roser had some problem, and he would go to the old owl for the solution of his problem. And then the owl told him to go to the wizard. He will instruct to go to the wizard, and the wizard performed a magic spell that solved the problem. So all used to instruct him to go to the wizard, and then with the help of magic spell, the wizard will solve his problem, but demanding in payment a number of pennies greater than the number that Roser creature had. But for the solution of the problem, the wizard used to demand payment of number of pennies. Okay, and Roser was always having the shortage of that number of pennies. Suppose Roser is having 5 pennies, the wizard would ask for 10 in this way. But in the same breath, when wizard finds that Roser is not having demanded pennies, then in the same breath he directing the animal to a place where the extra pennies could be found. He would tell him that you have to go to so and so place, and there you will get the required pennies. Then Roser was so happy he played many games with other creatures and went home to his mother just in time to hear the train whistle that brought his daddy home from Boston. After getting the solution to the problem, Roser would be very happy. He would go and will play with his other creatures, and then he would go home to his mother well in time in the evening, and then the family means his mother and he would hear the train whistle, because that train would carry his father home from Boston. So this was the basic tale, and Jack used to make simple or slight changes in this basic tale, and he used to frame a new story, and he used to narrate it to his daughter daily. Now Jack described their supper. After that it was the ending of the story. He would describe their supper. Supper is the last meal of the day, dinner, and the story was over. Means then the family would take dinner and the story is over. Working his way through this scheme was especially fatiguing on Saturday, because Joe never fell asleep in naps anymore, and knowing this made the rite seem futile. Rite means this custom, futile goes waste. Mean this was a custom to narrate the story, and while listening to the story the child was supposed to sleep, but on Saturdays she doesn't sleep because it was Sunday next day, so she was not interested to sleep, and it used to become very much fatiguing, tiring for Jack on Saturdays. This scheme used to get failed because the girl was having so many questions. As well as the main thing was, she knew the basic tale and she knew what is going to happen after an event. What would be the next step? What would be the next event happening? So she used to interfere time and again and used to raise questions. The little girl, not so little anymore. Now she is not that much little. The bumps her feet weighed under the covers were halfway down the bed, their big double bed that let her be in her for naps and when she was sick. She used to sleep on a big bed and she used to make mischiefs under the bed sheets. Okay, and she used to sleep there for naps. She used to lay there for naps, and whenever she was sick, this bed was used. The little girl had at last arranged herself. So today, the girl is ready to listen to the story. She has arranged herself. She's all set. And from the way her fat face deep in pillow shone in the sunlight sifting through the drawn shades, it did not seem fantastic that some magic would occur and she would take her nap like an infant of 2. So she was ready and the light was coming, the sunlight was coming through the coming through the drawn shades, and her face was deep sunk under the pillow. It was shining and it did not seem fantastic. That means the father could realize that nothing or no magic is going to happen that day, that she takes her nap so fast. She will definitely be raising the questions. He knew this, and she was not going to sleep immediately after the story is over or during the story session. As her brother, who was only of 2 years old, he had already slept. Her brother Bobby was 2 and already asleep with his bottle. Jack asked, so here the story starts. Who shall the story be about today? This is the question by father to daughter. Means who will be the hero of the story today? Now girl knows, daughter knows that the hero is oftenly Roser. Only the next name of some animal will be added to that. Roser. Jo squeezed her eyes shut and smiled to be thinking she was thinking. She started thinking, she just started smiling and she posed as if she is thinking something. She squeezed her eyes. Roser, her eyes opened, then opened. Her mother's blue. Her eyes are opened and her mother's are blue. Then she added skunk, she said firmly. Roser, skunk is going to be the hero of the story today. A new animal. They must talk about skunks at nursery school. Having a fresh hero momentarily stirred Jack to creative enthusiasm. All right, he said, once upon a time in deep dark woods there was a tiny little creature by the name of Roser Skunk and he smelled very bad. So a new animal, he said. Oh, this time the animal had been new and we or the children, they have heard about or talk about skunks only in nursery school. So the narrator, father is the narrator of the story. He has got a fresh hero and for a moment he got excited, momentarily stirred. For the moment he got excited with the new hero, fresh hero, and it brought a creative enthusiasm in him. He was ready. He had to frame the events, incidents of the story. All right, he said, and in this way the story starts. Once upon a time in deep dark woods, there was a tiny creature by the name of Roser Skunk and he smelled very bad. It was the problem of the skunk was he smelled very bad. Yes, Jo said. She knows that the Roser Skunk will be having some problem. Then father says, he smelled so bad that none of the other little woodland creatures would play with him. Jo looked at him solemnly. She hadn't foreseen this. He smelled so bad. No other animal of the forest, woodland played with him. And when Joe looked at him, when Joe listened to this, she got serious. She started looking at father. She had not imagined that this such grave problem will be. The problem will be so much serious. Whenever he would go out to play, Jack continued with all enthusiasm. Jack continued to narrate the story. He says, simultaneously remembering certain humiliations of his own childhood. Jack, he remembered certain insults that he had to face during his childhood. And he kept on narrating the story with all enthusiasm. Said, whenever he would go out to play, all of the other tiny animals would cry. Oof, oh, here comes Rosa's stinky skunk. Other animals would cry like this, that here is the Rosa and he is stinky. Rosa's stinky skunk. Okay, he stinks. Foul smell emits from his body. Such were the words of the other animals, other tiny animals. And they would run away. Due to that foul smell, they would run away and Rosa's skunk would stand there all alone. He had to stay all alone there. And two little round tears would fall from his eyes. He would start crying only there, standing there. Two little round tears would fall from his eyes. The corners of Joe's mouth drooped down and her lower lip bent forward as he traced with the forefinger along the side of her nose the course of one of Rosa's skunk's tears. So here, Joe's face drooped down, listening to such a problem of her hero of the story, and her lower lip went forward. As when the father traced with the forefinger along the side of her nose, the course means he just tried to explain her the course of these tears on the sides of the nose. Then girl knows what would happen next. Before the narrator, means the father, could say anything, the girl started saying. She says, won't he see the owl? She asked in a high and faintly roughened voice. A little rough voice and a faint voice. And she asked, but in a high voice, she asked, won't he go to the owl with such a problem? Sitting on the bed beside her, Jack felt covers tug as her legs switched tensely. Means she was moving her legs under cover and under the bed sheet, and she was making mischief. And she was very much curious that her father should immediately tell what did the skunk do next. So, and father could realize this, that she is getting very curious. He was pleased with this. And he was also pleased with this, that she is very much enthusiastic. She is very much curious to listen to the events of the story. Moment. He was telling her something true. Look, he was pleased with this moment. He was telling her something true, something she must know, and had no wish to hurry on. He was telling her something which was true, and she must know the things, and he was not having any wish to hurry on. But downstairs a chair scraped, and he realized he must get down to help Claire paint the living room woodwork. Claire is the name of wife of Jack. She is his wife, and she was painting woodwork in the living room downstairs, and he was with the girl upstairs, and he was narrating her story so that she could sleep. So downstairs, his mind immediately diverted to the downstairs, because the chairs were being drawn here and there. They were getting scraped. So he realized he must get down. He realized that he should go down and should help his wife. Well, he walked along very sadly. Who? Rosa skunk. He walked along very sadly and came to a very big tree. He reached a very big tree, and in the tip top of the tree was an enormous wise old owl. So he tells he reached a big tree, and in the tip top of the tree was an enormous wise old owl. There lived a very huge sized old owl. Good. This is the dialogue of, this is the word spoken by girl Jo. Very good. Now she gets happy that now he will get the solution. He reaches there and talks to, Roger Skunk reaches there and talks to the wise old owl. Mr. Owl, Roger Skunk said, all the other little animals run away from me because I smell so bad. So you do. The owl. So yes, he told him the problem. He told him his problem, that all other little animals run away from me because I smell so bad. And owl said, yes, you do smell very, very bad. What can I do? Roger Skunk said, what should be the solution to this problem? Said Roger Skunk. And he cried very hard and started crying. The Bizard. Joe shouted and sat right up, and a little golden book spilled from the bed. Now the girl knows what would be the next solution, and he started interfering, and she started saying, Bizard, the Bizard. She shouted and she got up. And then a little book, golden colored book, or maybe it is the name of book, a little golden book. It fell down from the bed. Now Joe, father got a little angry. Joe, daddy is telling the story. Do you want to tell daddy the story? No, you, me, the girl said. No, father, you will tell me the story. Then lie down and be sleepy. Father instructed. Try to sleep, lie down. Her head relapsed onto pillow and she said, out of your head. This dialogue is related with the previous dialogue, you, me, out of your head, means you will narrate the story out of your imagination, out of your brain. And she relapsed on the pillow. She again tried to sleep. She lies down on the bed. Well, the owl thought and thought. At last he said, why don't you go to see the wizard? Means this was the solution given by the old owl, that Roger Skunk should go to see the wizard. He will give him the solution. Daddy, what? Now the question by the little child. Daddy asked what? She asked, are the magic spells real? This was a new phase just last month. This last month a reality phase. Now narrator telling us that father could realize that it was a new phase which has started in that little child, and it started only last month. It was a reality phase. She had started asking the questions. She was having certain queries. She just wanted to know the truth. Once he told her spiders eat bugs, she turned to her mother and asked, do they really? And when Claire, means her mother, told her God was in the sky and all around them, she turned to her father and insisted with a sly yet eager smile, is he really? Means she wanted to know the truth. She wanted to know the facts about the incidents. Do they really exist? So she asked, are magic spells real? And when he told her that spiders eat bugs, she went to mother to ask, to confirm. And when mother told that God lives in sky and is all around them, then she went to her father to know, did God really lives in the sky? Then father gives the answer to the question, are magic spells real? This was the question. They are real in stories, Jack answered curtly. Very wisely he gave the answer. She had made him miss a beat in the narrative, but he had missed that beat. That enthusiasm was lost now because she was interfering time and again. The owl said, go through the dark woods, under the apple trees, into the swamp, over the creek. So in this way, this was the path Roger Skunk had to take to reach the wizard. He had to go through the dark woods, under the apple trees, into the swamp, over the creek. Now she asked, what is creek? Swamp is marshy land, muddy land. What is creek? Now here the answer is given. What is a creek? He tells us it's a little river over the creek and there will be the wizard's house. When he will cross the little river, then over the little river there will be a wizard's house. And that is the way Rosa Skunk went. And pretty soon he came to a little white house and he rapped on the door, means he knocked at the door. Jack rapped on the window sill. And under the covers, Joe's tall figure clenched in an infantile thrill. Now, when he rapped the door, rather he rapped on the window sill, Joe's tall figure, it was clenched. She started showing the thrill of an infant. She was, because she just wanted to know what is going to happen next, who will come out of the house. It was wizard, and what would happen, how would he react to her hero. Okay, so it was an infantile thrill. And then a tiny little old man came out with a long white beard and a pointed blue hat and said, "Eh!" Look here in the picture. Old man, long beard and a long hat. Who came? Yes, here it is. Then a little tiny old man came out with a long white beard and a pointed blue hat and said, "Hey, what is this? What do you want? You smell awful." The wizard's voice was one of Jack's own favorite effects. Means Jack had to produce the effects in his voice according to the demand, according to the voice of the character. So it was his favorite. This effect was his favorite effect. He did it by scrunching up his face and somehow whining through his eyes. By tightening his face, he said these words, which felt for the interval rheumi. It seemed as if he has become a victim of rheumi, that is the disease of bones. He felt being an old man suited him. He just wanted to prove that he is talking like an old man. "I know it," Rosa Skunk said. Rosa Skunk said, "Yes, I know that my body emits foul smell and all the little animals run away from me. The enormous wise old said, you could help me." So he told him the problem, that little animals, they run away from me, and under the suggestion of enormous wise owl, I have come to you. He told me that you can help me. Well, maybe. Come on in. Come inside. Don't get too close. Now inside. Now you have come inside. Joe, there were all these magic things. Father is telling girl what were the things inside his home, his house. All jumbled together. Magic things were there. They were jumbled together, lying here and there in a big dusty heap. Because the wizard did not have any cleaning lady. Why? Girl asked. Why he was not having any cleaning lady? Why? Because he was a wizard and a very old man. Will he die? Again question. Will he die one day? No, wizards don't die. This was the answer of father. He just wants to move ahead, proceed further in the story. Well, he rummaged around. Who rummaged around? He searched means. Rummaged around means searched around. Who? The wizard. And found an old stick called a magic wand. Magic wand was found by him. And asked Rosa Skunk what he wanted to smell like. He asked him, "What smell do you want your body should emit?" Rosa thought and said, "Roses." Suddenly, the word roses came to his mind and said, "Roses." He wants to smell like roses. Yes, good, Joe said smugly. She was also happy listening to this, that now her hero, Rosa Skunk, will be smelling good. Jack fixed her with a trance-like gaze and chanted in the wizard's elderly, irritable voice. Like a wizard, irritable voice, he chanted a mantra. Okay, looking at the girl continuously. What was the mantra? Abracadabra, hocus poo, Rosa Skunk, how do you do? Roses, bosses, pull on here. Rosa Skunk, you never fear. Bingo. Okay, and then what happened? He paused as a rapt expression widened out from his daughter's nostrils, facing her eyebrows up and her lower lip down in a wide noiseless grin, an expression in which Jack was startled to recognize his wife feigning pleasure at cocktail parties. Okay, dear students, it's too long. We will be taking up this part in the next video. We have already given half an hour, and we will be taking up page number 52 in the next video. Till then, you please go through this part. We discussed the text of this part and try to understand the details and the incidents given in the story, and you may also go through the next part we will discuss in the next video. You can read it also. If you find any problem, you may make a call to me. Till then, you keep reading, keep doing your work. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.